Crime was down by double digits in every county of the state in March and the first half of April. That's according to data obtained by New York Now from the State Division of Criminal Justice Services. And the answer as to why seems obvious. With COVID-19 going on, everybody's staying home, so there are just fewer opportunities for crime to happen. But I wanted to know if there was something else that we're not looking at, if there were other factors that we're not realizing that just aren't down on paper. So I called up three prosecutors: Albany County DA David Soares, Orange County DA David Hoovler, and Erie County DA John Flynn. All three said that yes, more people are staying home, but there's more to the data than just self-isolation. In Albany County, arrests in March and the first half of April were about a third of what they were last year. Misdemeanor arrests dropped more than felonies. Soares said it's possible that minor offenses are a lower priority for members of law enforcement right now, meaning they might let some of those crimes go in the interest of public safety.
Law enforcement, in an effort to flatten the curve, is certainly using greater restraints in terms of what they exercise discretion, over and what they don't. So I don't think we're seeing a lot of the petty offenses, quality of life offenses being charged right now because people are really prioritizing the threats to public safety.
Down in Orange County, Hoovler said members of law enforcement may also be spread more thin than usual, not only because of COVID-19, but because of a series of criminal justice reforms that took effect this year. Hoovler doubles as the president of the DA's Association. He said the new criminal justice laws have given law enforcement more to do, but not more time to do it.
I think number one, the criminal justice reforms passed in January caused a slight dip. I think that as a result of those reforms and the added workload, a lot of prosecutors decided that certain crimes they weren't going to necessarily prosecute as much as they did in the past.
Both Soares and Hoovler also noted that the new criminal justice laws have changed the way the state measures the number of arrests. Because of those laws, lower-level charges are often given desk appearance tickets instead of being arrested. That means they wouldn't be counted in the number of arrests.
It's going to be very different the way that we measure. In other words, in 2020, it's an entirely different series of comparisons because the process by which people get into the system changed so much.
In Erie County, John Flynn said he doesn't think there's less enforcement of lower-level crimes, but that the work of law enforcement has changed since COVID-19 started. There are ripple effects to everything, he said. For example, with bars closed, less people are driving home drunk.
With bars being closed, restaurants being closed, no more weddings, no more social events, that eliminates pretty much the majority of that crime right there, all right? And again, you take other crimes, assaults, robberies, burglaries, all right? People can't burglarize homes because people are at home now.
All three DAs agree that COVID-19 has changed the way that they do their jobs, and that's also true for other members of law enforcement. Up in Washington County, Sheriff Jeff Murphy has gone as far as telling his deputies not to interact with the public unless they absolutely have to. That's to keep those officers safe, but it could also affect their arrest rates, he said.
My instruction to our deputies was, minor offenses, traffic issues, things like that. I'm not concerned with numbers. I'm not concerned with, arrests or tickets or anything like that. I'm concerned with keeping our employees safe.
But not all crime is down around the state. Reports of domestic violence were up 30% in April. And Hoovler said in his county, drug abuse has become a major problem since the COVID-19 crisis started. That's while the total number of arrests in March and the first half of April were down 60% in Orange County.
If you can prevent things, and I take a lot of time, I try to spend a lot of my time and effort as DA, and even resources that we have, focusing on prevention. And so that's what we're trying to do during this period with alcohol, substance abuse, and overdoses.
And it's not just the pursuit of crime that's changed. In Albany County, Soares said they're already trying to plan for when people have to come back into court. That's going to be tough with social distancing rules.
I think we're moving now into phase 2, which means can we do a hearing digitally? And if we move in that direction, I think it bodes very well.
Each prosecutor said they've learned things along the way that they may take with them after the pandemic ends. In Erie County, John Flynn said this might start a larger conversation about how to treat defendants in the criminal justice system while preserving public safety. In his county, arrests were down 60% in March and the first half of April compared to last year.
Maybe we continue to think about ways that we can not bring people into the court system but maybe get them into another system, whether it's mental health or alcohol counseling or drug counseling, instead of bringing them in the court system. So this now, I think, will facilitate that conversation.